Dawn,
Yes.
we are here in Hawthorne. You live in that tent behind you.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
We've been here on this trail since January of this year. Since the COVID happened, they haven't really bothered us so much. There's people that's been down here years. There's people who are new, fairly new, who are from the area. My husband and I are not from the area, but have been lucky, in a sense, I guess, to be with the people that we're around right now. So.
Well, you've been here longer than a year.
Oh yes. March 21st, 2019.
So, you happen to be with another couple, and you got stranded here.
It was a guy and his son from Ohio. They stranded us here, left us here after my husband drove across country, or drove from Colorado to get everybody out of the cold, and the thanks we got was being left here with 3 dogs and nothing else.
And they left you in the parking lot of a Walmart.
Yes.
And that's how you ended up in Hawthorne.
Yes.
This wasn't a tourist destination.
Oh, no. This wasn't, to be honest, I don't know what it was. I would call it a mistake, but every experience I've ever had in my life has turned out to be something way more beneficial than a mistake.
How did you adapt to being homeless in California?
First couple of weeks was rough. We're from the South, and we're not used to this out here, even though we're both from a pretty decent-sized city. Nothing prepared us for what's out here. There's days where you don't have a care in the world. There's days where you wonder where your next meal's coming from. There's days you wonder if the person that's walking in front of where you stay at is there to hurt you or there to steal from you. But it's all called survival in a sense. We try not to think about that, really.
Well, how do you survive?
Panhandling, which was something I never did. Recycling at night, which is tedious work for such a little amount of money, but it's better than the alternative. And that's about it.
And your husband's disabled?
He is disabled. We do not get disability yet. We tried in Georgia, and he got 3 denials. Went back to work. That's how he ended up in Colorado. Got denied in Colorado twice. And he hasn't filed in California yet. It's kind of hard to do when you can't access a computer and it takes forever on a phone. So we've got to try to do that. We're still here. He gets insurance out here, which is he needs that. So even if we have a chance to go back home, we can't do it because of his health.
So, do you mind me asking about his health?
He's an insulin-dependent diabetic. A lot of times he doesn't take his insulin because we're out here with no way for him to keep his insulin cold. And if it goes bad, that could cause more problems for him. He deals with chronic pain from 4 shoulder surgeries from his trade, which he can no longer do. He's got neuropathy in his feet and his hands, and recently he was diagnosed with congestive heart failure, and he stays swollen all the time and is probably on the verge again of going back in the hospital.
We were talking about this earlier, and I think it's so important because homeless services is supposed to anyways prioritize people like your husband to get you both out of here into housing.
That's what we're told. Honestly, I think the reason they haven't is because of our animals, which I think is trying to find the right words here. Bullshit. That's what I'm gonna say. They're part of our families. They're our children. And if it means us being behind four walls or being right here with our babies, that's what we're going to do.
But there's still, I mean, your husband has serious health
He
issues.
does. He does.
He should be at the top of what they call the vulnerability index, or
That's
the VI-SPDAT.
Right. That's what
And
we're
they
told.
should be fast tracking him into housing. Now, is any case managers or anybody helping you?
We've been told that they're helping. I don't see where they're helping at all. We've gotten more help from somebody who's a volunteer for another organization that spends more of his time and stuff like that than they do at all. And that's not right. That's not right.
Well, you're saying lost outreach workers come in here and give you promises, and then you can't get in touch with them or see them again.
Right. Well, they'll come back every, I guess just to save face, to be seen or whatever. They bring us bottled water. I can get that myself.
What you need is housing.
We do. We do. We do need housing before, something turns real bad for my husband and I'm left stuck here without him altogether, and that's not an option. And when things like that happen out here, what's somebody supposed to do other than the obvious? And that's lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit for negligence. It's not right. And I don't know who else to turn to. You could talk till you're blue in the face. It's like nobody's going to hear you because they don't care. They get paid to do a job, and that's all they seem to care about.
You were saying earlier that you wanted to talk about how homeless people are treated.
Wow. People stare at you. People shine down their noses at you. And it's hard to not let it break you down mentally. But we all come from somewhere. Okay? We all have a story, a reason why we're here. It doesn't make us any less than anybody else. Just because our walls are made of, material, and theirs are made of sheetrock and drywall. They're no better than we are. They're shoveling food down their garbage disposals or throwing it away when you got people who don't even eat sometimes out here, and they don't give those people a second thought. Society we live in has created this. And if people don't change it, it's going to turn into what they're trying to make it be, and that's complete division amongst each other, and it's not right. We all bleed the same color. Our hearts beat the same. Something's got to change.
You okay?
Mm-hmm. It's rough. It's rough. Because a bunch of us do have given hearts, and I see the way people look at us and think to myself, if they only had half the heart that some of us have out here.
Yeah, I find homeless people, and it's probably one of the reasons I like to hang out with homeless people, is the most kind, compassionate, understanding, full of tolerance. Yeah, there's assholes everywhere.
Oh, gosh.
Look at our Congress, but in the homeless community, more often than I walk around handing out socks, and people want to give me water, they want to give me food, they want to give me something in return just for a pair of socks, and they're so grateful.
It makes you humble.
It does.
And if it doesn't, then you need to go back to whatever home you walked out of, because you don't need to be out here. There are some people out here who don't have to be out here. They have homes that they could go to with their families and stuff. Why they choose to, I don't know. To take advantage of the ones who are here, who have no other choice. It's shame on them for that. But they have to pay for that in the long run, not me. I do the best I can every day to make sure that I won't have questions to answer later on.
There's people take advantage at every socioeconomic level.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere, even out here.
So what's a day like?
What's a day like? Oh, my days are long. Number one, it's hot. Number two, my patience has gone. It no longer exists. Keeping my temper in check's been rough. But I'm out here to survive, not catch a charge. Just trying to survive. Get up and try to panhandle money for breakfast so my husband can eat. And if I recycle the night before, we have to take that stuff in and just making sure we have everything that we need and we don't go without for anything, you know.
It must be extremely hard taking care of your husband and having to survive for both of you.
I'd do it 10 times over if I had to. Even though he's the biggest pain in my ass, but, you know, he's my pain in the ass. I created him. So
it's called love, right?
Yes. In its truest form. And if you can survive this out here, you can survive anything. So I'm not ashamed of where we are. I'm not ashamed of how we got here. I'm not ashamed that a year later we're still here. If we're here another year later, next year the same time, but he's getting the care that he needs and all that, that's all well and good.
Well,
it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, that's the thing. With his disability, you guys should be in housing.
Right.
I know there's a couple of different case managers from different organizations coming here, and I know there's a lack of housing, and there's 80,000 homeless people, and everybody's overwhelmed. But from what you tell me and I've seen of your husband from being here earlier, you guys should be fast-tracked right into housing.
Prior to COVID, you know, we've heard, and I'm going to mention this organization. It's not going to, you know, harm me in any way, but PATH, who I know got majority of the funds that were given. Prior to COVID, we had not seen one person from PATH. And when they started doing the stay-at-home order, they were here with the quickness. And said that they didn't know if, because of our dogs, if we could, you know, get, you know, the project room key or anything like that. And they just kind of swept us under the rug.
Well, project room key is closing soon.
Right.
And
I mean, that's not an option. I mean, because even then
they're taking dogs in, and you know, a house person trying to find an apartment with a dog isn't a little extra challenging, but it's possible.
Right.
And your husband is dying, so you work a little harder and you make it happen. To me, anyway.
Right. I haven't heard it put like that.
Well, I was an outreach case manager here for 4 years, and that's the way I worked.
Right. And that's the way you have to be. You cannot feel sorry for anybody that's out here, okay? Yeah, some of us have put, you know, the choice to stay out here is on everybody, okay? It's on everybody. How we got here, not so much, but the ones, you know.
Well, I don't feel sorry for people.
There's a lot of people
I
who do.
empathize with you.
No, there's a lot. I understand that, not you, because you've been there, but there's a lot of people who look at you like, you know, don't do that. Don't do that to me.
You don't want pity.
No. What the hell's pity gonna get me?
Right.
You know?
Right.
I'm not, you know, a charity case. I'm not a charity case. I never will be, because I can do for me before anybody else.
You're surviving.
So I am.
Just need a hand to get out of here.
I just need, yes, we've got to get out of here. I've got to get him out of there. You know, he's shutting down on me.
If you had 3 wishes, what would they be?
For him to get well, for us to see our 2 grandbabies that were born this year, and to hug my daughters.
Great wishes. Well, thank you very much for talking to me.
Thank you, and thank you for what you do.